Testing, 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 testing. 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 Testing, testing. That's the one.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Unitarian Society of Germantown. I'm Sarah Hertz, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation united in a common purpose to make love real in our lives and in the world. We are diverse in our beliefs, atheist and agnostic, believers and seekers, and we welcome you here no matter your race, your class, your gender identity, your sexual orientation, your family structure, your job, your health. No matter our differences, we know that we were all a part of the interdependent web of life. Whether this is your first, 5th, 15th, 50th visit, we invite you to introduce yourself to someone at the welcome table, over here to my right, your left, and they would be happy to answer any questions you have about this congregation or Unitarian Universalism. Please complete a visitor card there and join us for fellowship and coffee in the dining room back here following our service. Gender-neutral restrooms can be found at the bottom of the stairs in the back of the sanctuary, and gendered restrooms are through this door and down the hall. Please use whichever feels right for you. For our announcements today, there will be a building tour after service today. Okay, I'm going to sing for a little bit now. Okay. There will be a building tour after service today for those who wish to get a lay of the land here. It starts at the back of the sanctuary and will be led by Paula Behrens. Next Saturday is our Harvest Fair Fall Auction. Please join us. Come get soup at 5 p.m. The live bidding will start at 6 p.m. The catalog goes live on Monday evening for you to see what's on offer and to start making your plans to snag that dinner party or that tour or that pie or my amazing pistachio cheesecake, if I say so myself. This Wednesday will be our kickoff New Moon Labyrinth Walk, perfectly timed with the evening of Rosh Hashanah. This all-ages event will start at 5:30 in the Grove. Come and get grounded in the energy that comes with a new moon and the natural invitation to reset intentions and explore a spiritual practice in the outdoors. Next Sunday after worship is a meet and greet with Reverend Hannah. If you have been coming for a bit and are interested in membership, next Sunday is a good time to meet with her and others who are new to the community and thinking about taking that step to formalize your commitment to this place. And now, as we deepen into worship, please silence your cell phones and allow yourself to be present for this hour. But please don't silence your children. Their sounds are welcome here.
Good morning, all. Good morning. Could I get a thumbs up if you can hear me in the back? Great. Thanks for being full of grace this morning as we work out some tech wrinkles. Our call to worship today comes from Lynn Cox. Come, you accidental pilgrims who find yourself on a journey of surprise and wonder. Come, you who emerge into this place as an act of liberation. Come, you who seek a life of mindfulness and a place to test your thoughts. Come, you who bring hearts of all kinds, heavy hearts, rusty hearts, hearts broken open in revelation, hearts full of love to share. Come, you who seek courage, and you who have more courage than you realize. Come, you who stand behind the curtain, gathering up the resources to claim your truth. Come, you who have been in a bubble, who are poised for transformation. This path will ask much of us. Let us move forward with love. Let us move forward with appreciation for one another. Let us move forward knowing we are not alone. Whoever you are, whatever your gifts. You are welcome on this journey. Let us worship together.
Our chalice will be lit this morning by Rudy Sprinkle. Please join me in reading in our order of service. We light this chalice, but a flame calls us to love, to justice, to a deepening of the spirit. Please join us in rising in body or spirit for hymn 1028, The Fire and Commitment.
And now is our time for all ages. So if all of our kids want to come up to the front, our youngest members and our young at heart caretakers, we're going to gather up here for a story today. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Emmy. morning, everybody. It's good to see you all. So this morning, we have a story about how kids are very brave and very powerful. And I feel weird not looking at you all. So you'll be on the steps and I'll be on the floor. But have you ever been told that you couldn't do something because you are just a kid? Have you ever been told that? Yeah? Because you're not quite tall enough, or you're not quite old enough? You know what that's like? Well, this is a story about how kids can make big changes in the world just as they are. How many of you have heard of the civil rights movement? Lots of hands. Very nice. So 60 years ago, there was a movement for black people to have equal rights in the United States. The enslavement of African Americans had ended, but there were still things that weren't fair, like black and brown people being denied from entering certain buildings, being prevented from voting, which we know is important with the election coming up, and being segregated just because of the color of their skin. And there were lots of famous people that worked for equality during the civil rights movement. We maybe know Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., maybe we know the name Rosa Parks, John Lewis, Fannie Lou Hamer. But there were thousands of unnamed children that had a big part in the movement as well, and making change for equality happen for themselves and for the adults. In 1963, there was an event called the Children's Crusade, and the leaders of the civil rights movement had been working and working and working in Birmingham, Alabama, but they still weren't seeing any progress, and people were tired. Then, on May 2nd, more than 1,000 children skipped their classes at school to gather downtown in Birmingham to march for justice. These children had decided that they could help the movement in ways that their parents couldn't. They didn't have to go to work, or make money, or make dinner for the family every night. They were uniquely ready to make change. And some of these kids were as young as 7 years old. Are any of you 7 right now? Older than 7? There we go, yeah. Romans, are you 7 right now? See, we have a lot of young kids right here. Could have been part of that. And these thousands of kids marched downtown singing freedom songs and holding signs. But even though the children were there peacefully, they were still met with violence from the police. Many of them were arrested and spent nights away from their parents in jail. It's very difficult and challenging in many ways, but they continued singing, marching, and protesting for 10 whole days. The Children's Crusade was a hard experience for many of these kids because of the violence they faced. And it was still a very powerful moment because all of the adults saw these kids taking courageous action for justice. They were then willing to take action. It even inspired the president at the time, John F. Kennedy, to express support for changing the civil rights laws. The kids were old enough and wise enough to make their own decisions to work for justice. They already knew at 7 years old, and probably even younger, that it wasn't fair for black people to be oppressed in our country. The kids in Birmingham made a brave choice to be part of the civil rights movement. And I see all of you in front of me, and a few of you behind me, and I know that you can also make brave choices. You know what bravery, and fairness, and respect, and justice looks like and feels like. And I see you as people that can be really powerful when you follow your heart and that feeling. And in fact, I think it might just inspire more adults to do the same thing. So on this morning, we're going to tap into that feeling of bravery and fairness and justice. We're going to keep it with us. And now we're going to head out to our classrooms to also have playtime and fun with all of that. Thank you all this morning. And one thing I want to say before we head out that I didn't last week is that we have decided where we're going to be, and so parents can find their kids after the service. Our 3 to 5-year-olds are in the children's library behind the elevator. Our 1st through 4th graders are in Sullivan 1, and then our 5th through 7th graders are in Sullivan 2. So come find us after the service. And with that, we're going to head out.
Let's sing our children out with Go Now in Peace.
This week, as with every week, we will share our donations with an organization doing work that aligns with our mission. This week and next, we will share the plate with our 2 local elementary schools, Lingelbach, just across the street, and the Henry School, just a few blocks away. At a time of increasingly tight school budgets and teachers relying on Amazon wish lists to supply their students, we believe that our donations make a tangible difference in the lives of the educators and children at these schools. Please give generously, as we have found that the more we give away, that more that comes our way. To give in cash or check, please drop in the plate as ushers pass by. To give by text, please follow the instructions in your order of service.
Your summer days come tumbling down and you find yourself alone, then you can come back and be with me. Just close your eyes and I'll be there. Listen to the sound of this old heart beating for you. Yes, I miss you, but I never want to hold you down. You might say, I'm here for you. When the winter comes to your new home and snowflakes are falling down, then you can come back with me. Just close your eyes and I'll be there. Listen to the sound of this old heart beating for you. Yes, I miss you, but I never want to hold you down. You might say, for you. In the spring, protective arms surrounded you. In the fall, we let you go your way. Happiness, I know, will always find you. And when it does, I hope that it will stay. Yes, I miss you, but I never want
invite you to take a deep breath in, to get grounded. Fill your lungs. Exhale fully. Open your ears to the sounds of the cars outside and the creaking pews. Be in your body. Find in yourself gratitude. Let it blossom. Let it spread. You woke up. You drew breath. You have been granted another day, another chance. What a gift. Spirit of life, we lift our prayers together. We knit together the hopes and fears, the anxieties and the insecurities. We knit them with relief and pride. In this moment, we breathe together, fully in, fully out. We draw our souls close, and we listen for what is true. Let us remember those in the wider world who suffer today, whose lives matter to us, though we do not know them. For those affected by the path of Hurricane Helene, homes underwater, roads washed away. For those who lost their lives. For those sad by today, and just overwhelmed. For those in Lebanon, displaced in Beirut, neighborhoods bombed out, trapped under rubble, running for their lives with nothing but the clothes on their back. For Marcellus Williams and his family, executed by the state of Missouri this week, wrongfully imprisoned. We think of mercy. We think of justice. We think of what Marcellus could have done if the world was different. We lift now those in our community facing joys and sorrows. We name them now, so they might feel the strength of this place, the love of this place. I invite you to speak those names aloud right now, so they might hear our prayers. Is there anyone who needs our prayers today? Suzanne Gower. let us wrap them in love, a deeper love than any of us can know and comprehend, which holds us all. Blessed be, and amen.
At this time, we invite you to contribute your joys and sorrows to the bowls of water at the front of the sanctuary. Choose a smooth stone or a pebble and place it in the water, absorbing your pain or rippling out with your joy. Sterns will play as we process. Please notice that today we have, and from now on, we will have 2 different tables set up with the stones and the pebbles, so please make 2 lines in the center and then recess around the side of the church back to your seat. Thank you. smooth stone and 1 pebble into the water on behalf of all of those joining us online. Please remain seated for Spirit of Life, after which we will share in a moment of silence. I was raised nominally Jewish, much to the disappointment of my grandparents. Our family's Judaism was more cultural than spiritual. No synagogue, no Hebrew, no keeping kosher. We were Hanukkah and Christmas Jews, shrimp cocktail Jews. My parents divorced and married non-Jews. Neither my brothers nor I married Jews, and I had 2 shots at it. Yet I have never thought of myself as anything but Jewish, despite my mother sending me to the Unitarian Universalist Sunday School. She said she wanted me to be able to make an informed decision about my faith as an adult. When I was a girl, though, my grandparents taught me the basic Hebrew prayers. The power of attending synagogue as an adult for one of the first times and hearing the entire congregation recite that one prayer, the Shema, in unison, moved me to tears, and it still does. There is something about the power of a community and participating in a ritual thousands and thousands of years old. As an adult, I shopped and shopped for the right synagogue. I felt like Cinderella seeking the perfect fit, but I have never felt quite at home. Then Lee moved to Philadelphia, and I followed her here to USG. I love the diversity of ages, beliefs, geographies, experiences, and all the opportunities to engage in this community. I love that no one batted an eyelid when we were married here by a rabbi. When I first started coming to USG, one of the parts of the service I found most powerful was singing the children out. I would have a visceral response, tears and goosebumps, much like I have when I recite the Shema in synagogue. In the USG case, My reaction was based on the demonstration of love and caring from the entire community for our youngest members. I found it and continue to find it moving and powerful. My own sons grew up much as I did, perhaps with a little more emphasis on the Judaism side, but I don't know that either of them would self-identify as Jewish. I wish they had had the experience of being sung out to go to learn and belong. From the story for all ages, to singing them out, to OWL, and so much more, our community shows our love and respect for our children. We demonstrate that we know that we are only the stewards of our faith for the time that we are here. We have the privilege and obligation of passing our values and sense of community on for those who will follow us, our children. We are their village. Please rise in body or spirit for hymn number 1053 in your teal hymnal. How could anyone ever tell you? Today's reading is Good Bones by Maggie Smith, and not that one. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible. And for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real shithole chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful.
They say that you preach the sermon you need to hear. And so many of you know this already, but my wife is due with our second child at the end of November. And I will be out for 8 weeks of parental leave, and you will hear all of the good plans I have in store for you during that time. I will be back for Christmas Eve. But they say you preach the sermon you need to hear. And on the dawn of us having a second child in our family unit, on the eve of diving back into long, sleepless nights and endless germs and lots of diapers and tears, I thought I would preach a sermon about why children matter. Why children matter. So many of you come here because of the intentional intergenerational aspect of this community. Our society has so few places where babies through the elderly come together to share in life's gifts. So many of you told me how special those years were when there were 100 children enrolled in our religious education program, maybe called Sunday school then. And many of you have told me how amazing it feels to watch so many children running around after service on the grounds of USG. We love having children around. We love having children in our lives. It's not hard to name the things that children bring to us, despite the challenges and the frustrations and the testing of our patience that is inevitable when dealing with small people. Children bring joy to our lives. In their absolute amazement at the most banal of things, for the rainbows and the flowers and the changing of the traffic lights, they infuse wonder into the mundane, and it is contagious. Suddenly, I too am amazed at the color of the sky all over again, at the softness of my pillow, at the way Halloween decorations are awesome. They show us how to live unself-consciously, how it might be to ask questions without shame, to not know anything about manners and social etiquette, how to live deeply connected to instinct and curiosity. They invite us into grace because they will fail over and over and over, and we will say, "It's okay," over and over and over. And they will offend, and we will forgive, and they will annoy, and we will forgive, and they will interrupt, and they will hit, and they will steal, and somehow through it all, we find our way to forgiveness. Children teach us about ourselves, about our own shortcomings. They show us how fallible we are, how little control we have over our lives, because they somehow have so little power, but also so much. The power to determine exactly when we get out the door in the morning, and how long we will eat this peanut butter and jelly sandwich for. They show us just how short our tempers can be, just how little bandwidth we have for those who are smaller and slower and more vulnerable. They expose all the growing edges we have, how much work we still have to do on ourselves. Good child rearing demands sharp self-awareness. Lastly, they show us the miracle of our ever-expanding hearts. That biologically there are only 4 chambers and it fits inside our chest, but metaphysically our hearts can grow. Capacious. Just when you think you've hit your limit, another child comes into your life and it grows your ability to love at the same depth. the same conviction, the same level of dedication and devotion blossoms all over again. And we look around at a world that is hurting, and we know that our hearts can grow bigger. Our hearts can expand to love harder and fiercer for those we didn't birth and those we didn't adopt and those we don't call kin. James Baldwin said, "The children are always ours. Every single one of them, all over the globe. I am beginning to suspect that whoever is incapable of recognizing this may be incapable of morality." We create a culture here in which we practice that the children are always ours. Every single one of them. In doing so, we hone our morality and we deepen our empathy. Our spirits are nurtured and grown by creating a culture in which kinship transcends bloodlines. Connection doesn't start and stop at the nuclear family unit. I am invested in the growth of your children the way I hope you will be invested in the growth of mine. There's generosity there, a generosity of spirit that we covenant to as Unitarian Universalists, to share our faith, our presence, and our resources as an embodiment of the truth that we are interdependent in a web of mutuality. Children are a part of that web, are a part of the fabric of this place. We give and receive in equal measure by having them be a part of this community as full members of this community who matter not just because of all the things they give us, of all the ways they make us laugh and smile and feel warm and fuzzy, but because they are alive. Alive at the same time that we are, sharing the planet with us, part of the web. They have inherent worth. They are deserving of dignity, just for merely existing. It was here in Unitarian Universalist community when I was a child that I learned that I mattered, where I learned what it felt like to have a seat at the table, even at a young age, and to have adults who listened to what I had to say, who cared about me, what my interests were, what my dreams were, what I was scared of. But not only do we listen to our children here, fully and without judgment, but we tell them the truth about the world. Maggie Smith wrote in her poem, "Good Bones," "I'll keep it from my children that the world is at least 50% terrible. There are strangers that could break you." While I cherish this poem as a kind of gospel about living, there's something about that I reject. Children know the world is hard. Children know the world is at least half terrible, and it's confusing and strange to be lied to about that fact. It's not very you to withhold that truth from our children if we know them as fully formed beings, not just empty vessels, clay that awaits our molding. We are honest with our children here about death, about suffering, about how unfair it can be to be human, about questions that have no answers. In telling them the truth, we honor that they are fully formed people who have experienced suffering, who know disempowerment, who have known what it is to be excluded and new to things. we find a way to share the truth in terms that they can comprehend and to comfort them amidst the hard parts of growing up in that truth. Maggie Smith goes on to say, I am trying to sell them the world, trying to make them see this could be beautiful. You could make this place beautiful. And in this, I find the persistent truth about why children matter. For they are harbingers of hope. They signal that life will still be happening after we are gone. That shadow truth that lingers over each of us, that always reminds us we will die and pass away, and life will continue. Children tell us we may be remembered and our name said occasionally long after we are gone. We see children as a sign that the end we will experience is not the total and final end for all. We may live on through our children, and they might triumph over the mess we've made. We are motivated by the presence of them in our lives to fix what is broken. Philosophers Anastasia Berg and Rachel Wiseman, they write about why we have children in a time when so many of us, particularly of childbearing age, are talking about what does it mean to bring a child into this world right now. Who are questioning why to bring a child into this world right now. They say having a child is not to ignore the political failures, the discrimination, or the tragedy around us. It is a courage to affirm the goodness of human life in the present. Each child in our midst, each child in this congregation is a testament, an affirmation to the goodness of human life in the present. This place is already beautiful, but you, my child, you, our children, could make it even more beautiful. The children are always ours, and in our covenant to offer our presence and our resources, I'm going to suggest 2 material ways we offer support and center our children. One is through a workshop I'll be offering over the course of 3 Sundays spanning late October and early November called Parenting as a Spiritual Practice. I'll invite parents and caregivers to come and reflect about the ways that our souls have been stretched and tested and expanded and deepened by becoming parents. And second, we'll be looking to build a team, a squad, if you will, of grandparents who will work with me and Zoe to offer free Friday night childcare here from 6 to 8. We'll serve pizza and watch a movie, and parents can drop their kids off and get 2 free hours, knowing their kids are experiencing connection and care from the elders in this congregation. We'll find ways to create bonds beyond the nuclear unit, to support the caregivers doing the hard work of day-to-day child rearing, and to live into the promise of the village, the network of mutuality. We will approach our time with kids as a chance for them to be seen and heard and valued for all the things they teach us and show us, but also for just being alongside us as we live at such a time as this. The children are all ours, every single one of them. Let us honor them to the last, the harbingers of hope, the fully formed beings that they are. May it be so, and amen.
As we extinguish our chalice, please join me in saying the words in your order of service. We extinguish our chalice, but the flame remains in us as we live into the mission of this congregation, building beloved community with compassion, service, and empowerment.
Beloveds, go in peace, go in joy.